What's up guys, this is Average Cracker with a video tutorial on how to switch something that you shouldn't be really running into, but if you are, hopefully this will fix it. Basically, you get into your car one day and you see this check engine light, and it drives you nuts. So you go over the usual suspects, which is either your gas cap, O2 sensors, and circuits. You disconnect the battery, or you go to your OBD2 reader and you erase the code, but it comes back after a bit. So, the code that I'm running into is P2402 Evaporative Emission System Leak Detection Pump Control Circuit High. Now there was a couple of other codes on the OBD reader, which I can't look at right now because I don't have the OBD reader with me. Okay, so my OBD2 reader is right underneath here, underneath the dashboard on the driver's side. Yours could be in a slightly different location on the other side maybe, but generally they're right here. If you don't have an OBD2 reader, what you can do is go to your local auto parts store, and they should have a reader and they can give you a code. Okay, so looking on some forums online, there really wasn't much telling you what the issue was with this sort of code. There were similar codes, but not exactly the same thing, from what I remember. But I'm going to go with the most obvious culprit here, and that's going to be the evaporative system leak detection pump. And that's going to be this guy right here. And that's actually located behind the car, so we are going to have to lift the car up. Unfortunately, we can't use the lift for this video. We're just going to be using normal jacks and jack stands. Alright, so as always, whenever you're doing anything with the car, consult your manual first, and then look at some forums and stuff, because typically the manual goes over what you need to do in order to change certain parts on the car. And of course in my manual it goes over the evaporative system. It tells you to first disconnect the negative terminal before you do anything with it. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so now we're underneath the back of the car and hopefully you can see everything. What you're going to want to look for is this thing right here. That's going to be your Evap leak detection pump. Now the manual goes over how to get that thing out. There's two bolts. One right here where my finger is, one over here where my finger is now. And that's going to pull out the tray. Now I know it looks like there's a lot of stuff in the way, but you can really reach it easily from the back of here, because there's just this empty space between the muffler, and this frame and the sway bar. The other thing you're going to want to look for is the tubes that are connected to it. Now again, in the manual it goes over what's what, but right here, this little this big tube is going to be what's connected to the one of the hoses, or one of the entry points on the leak detection pump. And that hose, if you run it, if you follow it anyways, all the way back here, this is the same hose connected to this block, which I don't know what this is, or I don't remember. And there's a couple of other areas that we have to worry about, like there's another tube back there that we have to take off, but these are all normal hose clamps, which aren't too difficult to get off, hopefully. And then as far as the mounting of the Evap pump to the brace that's connected to the frame of the car, there's going to be 3 bolts there that we have to take off. But we'll get started with first disconnecting the one in the back once we figure out what size we need. Alright, so hopefully the camera's able to see what I'm doing here, but it turns out that this is a 10, both of these bolts right here. Hopefully you can see that. All we're going to be doing is getting it off. Alright, so the camera was getting in my way and I had to twist those things out of there. I just left the bolts in, or the nuts in, just to keep it, the O2 sensor, the evaporative, let's just call it the pump in place meanwhile I do the rest of this. So next what I'm going to try to do is disconnect that electrical piece right there. I don't know how much of this you'll be able to see, but this thing, once you get the actual ring on it off, you can wiggle it off. I guess the hose clamp. Once you get the hose clamp off of the hose here, you just kind of wiggle it up and down until it actually comes off. And the manual recommends that you cover this up with like a towel or something like that, just to keep it clean. Ow, something got in my eye. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that. There's really not a lot of space back here. Your arms can only fit in a couple of different places. But next, I'll be able to reach this and take this one off and hopefully pull this thing out. I won't be able to record that while I'm doing it or any of this stuff because, like I said, space is honestly really limited and the camera gets right in the way. So. Okay, so once I finally disconnected everything from here, here, and here, took out the 10mm nuts, you can take this thing out. And something I noticed is that the electrical input thingy was not strapped in, and it almost looks like this side was cut. So my assumption is this isn't stock. Yeah, it's not. It's the same exact unit that I'm about to put in. So apparently this has been done before, and I guess this just failed. So all you gotta do next is use this thing to get it out. Okay, so with that being said, that this is the same unit that I'm about to put in. It doesn't fill me with confidence, but hopefully this had seen a lot of time in the car, and hopefully this is just the problem right here. Maybe because it looks like there's a gasket between here. Maybe it's just a deteriorator or something. I don't know. But no, we'll just do everything in reverse, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. And hopefully your check engine light will be off, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so once everything's said and done, the new unit should be in there. Everything's hooked up, ready to go. Why does it look so much smaller than before? Anyways, here's the old one, and wiggling it around, you can hear that something's loose. So, looking inside of here, you can actually see that it's stuck. I would believe that's open. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, it doesn't look too kosher or sound the greatest, so hopefully that fixes the issue. So once that's done, all you gotta do is turn it on. And what's gonna happen is every time we disconnect the negative terminal in this car, the traction control and the stability control are gonna come on. And all you gotta do is turn the car on to the on position, turn the wheel all the way left, all the way right, all the way left, then all the way right, and then even it out, turn it off, leave it off for a few minutes, turn it back on, and then those will disappear. And so yeah, so this doesn't definitively mean that your issue is solved. It's just at the moment the check engine light isn't going to come on regardless of any check engine light. So what you got to do is, the Evap system only works when the car's off. It's going to recognize it the 2 times you turn the car off or something like that. I've noticed it every 2 or 3 times that I've left it just sitting at work, and then I get into the car and then the light will come back on. But hopefully that doesn't happen, and I'll have an update for you guys. Hope this helped, and maybe it might not help me, but hopefully it helps you guys in the long run. So thanks for watching, leave a thumbs up.